We have a number of grasses in our native Splendor garden. We're going to look at a pair of these today, starting with this beautiful plant. This is Chasmanthium latifolium, or sea oats, sometimes called northern sea oats or inland sea oats. And this I find to be a most adaptable grass. It does wonderful in the shade. Its native habitat ranges from sandy coastal sites to dry woody sites, and it really is quite adaptable to dry soils. Another important use of this grass is for stabilizing soil. You can use it a lot on highly eroded locations such as hillsides, and it'll really hold that soil in place. It's sometimes used as a tall ground cover, and it is quite tall. It reaches about 2.5 or 3 feet. But it really makes a nice ground cover when it's planted in a large mass. And when the wind blows through it, it moves so gracefully. Now, another common name for Chasmanthium latifolium is fish on a pole. And it gets this name because of the seed heads, which are sort of a flattened oat-shaped seed head. They hang on these arching stems and they look like fish dangling off a fishing pole. Now, these seed heads work beautifully in dried arrangements, and once they're dried, they will remain for quite a long time. In the garden, sometimes the seeds can be rather problematic, so it's actually quite a good use to cut them off and dry them and use them indoors. Sometimes in the garden, we find that they'll readily seed, and we'll see little seedlings of our grass popping up in the springtime in nearby beds. Now, these are fairly easy to remove from the garden, but another way that we can manage them is once these seed heads start to dry in the late summer, before they open and start shedding their seeds, is to simply cut them off and remove them from the garden. This dainty grass is Botanical dactyloides, or buffalograss, and this is probably our only truly native turf grass. Now, we're using it here ornamentally, but most commonly we use this as a turf, and its benefit is that it's incredibly drought tolerant. Once it's established, it uses very little water. We don't have to fertilize it much. Some people allow it to grow long, and they'll have a nice tall turf, or you could cut it short like you would any other turf grass. And it has a very fine, soft texture and a delicate blue tone to the foliage. Now, buffalo grass is native throughout the Great Plains, and it once supported the great herds of buffalo. It's also the sod that early settlers had built their homes from.